on to the next part of the strategic landscape, and that's buyer power. And so this is where your purchasing groups get leverage, ARP, mutual funds. Um, there are advantages and disadvantages to having buyer power. On one hand, you get the discount. On the other hand, you don't have a lot of freedom and choice. Supplier power. Um, this is why it's bad when all these companies merge, because what happens is when you only have a few competitors, they all collude together. I mean, look at the airline industry. If Southwest hadn't come along, where's their incentive to drop prices? Because American will just set their price the same as United and so on and so forth. Um, the thing is, the people who are vulnerable to this part of the landscape um, are people who basically don't have a lot of options, and that's why you need to create them. Substitution offers you an alternative approach. The key thing, though, is if you're offering a substitution, is you have to be perceived as being good or better than what's already out there. Examples of substitution: LASIK. Instead of getting eyeglasses, just get your eyes fixed. Satellite and cable TV, two totally different approaches. Digital photography, well, actually now it's been displaced, but at the time it was an option, whether you want to do digital or film. The thing is, if you're a new product, you're typically the substitute because you're offering something totally new, a totally new way of doing something. Lock-in. Lock-in is, how do I keep my customers in? So medical devices, how do they get lock-in? Contracts. They do long-term contracts. Software, how do you get locked into software? Education. The thing is, once you learn a new piece of software, do you really want to go to the trouble to learn something else now? And the thing about pharmacies and other stores, loyalty cards. I gotta admit, I still sit there and use my Chase Visa because, I want the miles. And so here's some more examples of lock-in. And so the things that lock you in are things such as switching cost. And that's how much is it going to cost me to switch to something else? There could be social lock-in, and that's it. For example, I'm socially locked into Verizon. And the reason why is our entire family is on Verizon. And so we talk to each other for free. And that's why Verizon did it. And also there could be emotional attachment. Like my daughter is irrationally tied to Apple. I don't get it, but that's what it is. Lockout is, how do you keep people away? The thing is, contracts work both ways. They can lock out the competition, and they can also lock you in. Patents. Scale. What Walmart did in the early days is they would create a Walmart in a population center of 30 to 50,000 people. And the reason why is 30 to 50,000 people can create enough money for one Walmart, but it can't sustain a Walmart and a Target. So once Walmart would plant themselves there, Target would look at that as, we can't make any money. There's no point. And so there are a lot of high-priced products that do that. They pick a smaller market just because it can't handle a lot of people. You can do it by design. It's really funny. If you read annual reports, Intel, they're actually the biggest motherboard maker in the world too. And what they did to AMD is they switched the pin out and didn't tell them. And so now all of a sudden Intel has, AMD's got all these processors that aren't compatible with motherboards. And that's why they had to go out and find alternative sources. There could be entry costs. That locks you out. For example, do I have to pay for licenses? Some people don't like doing business in China because there's all kinds of fees entering their markets. Capital equipment tends to be a big entry cost, and that's if I have to buy a lot of tools and a lot of equipment, that can get pretty expensive. And so in terms of strategies, these are some of the generic ones. Whether you go direct, whether you flank them, meaning go to it. When you look at those perceptual maps, what you do is you go into the sector next to it and plan on attacking later. There are guerrilla techniques where you're basically just try to evade them, try to go into markets that they're not in. So in terms of entrepreneurs, uh, let's see. This is the same slide as the other one. Huh, I've got an error. Uh, the thing about marketing theory is they like to say it's all breaking down. Oh, no, 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 no. Marketing theory is totally new. And is it really? Um, the thing is, some things in traditional thinking don't work as well as they used to do. Like learning curves, for example, and first mover advantage. As it turns out, the fast followers tend to kill the first movers. The first movers are just the trailblazers. Um, but the thing is, quality. Do people value quality as much as they used to? No, because quality is transportable. And so there's quality everywhere. It's no longer an exclusive property of any one company or country. And so the thing is, in some ways, marketing theory is breaking down, but by the same token, it's not. And it's not because the theories about price, the theories about distribution, the theories about how customers think, it all still applies. And that's why I talk about fundamental concepts. The thing is, in terms of context, three factors drive the world. One is globalization. If you can't get it here, you can find it somewhere else. This is why you have housewives building products in China. In terms of digital technology, it's fundamental. You have to have it. This is the way people buy now. In terms of advertising, it's surpassing TV this year. And you're also going to need devices. And why? Because it's through devices. That's how you touch the customer. And this goes back to richness and reach. And the way we're getting richness and reach, we're doing it through personalization, which is about big data. And how do we get reach? It's through the cloud. The thing is, first movers in markets had a huge advantage because they had knowledge, they're the first ones to control resources and things like that. But the big thing about the internet is it broke all those barriers down. And so the things I talked about, that knowledge is no longer a gap because of the web. Quality is transportable. And the thing is, with richness and reach, everybody has access to the same channels. And so the other thing is that brand loyalty is breaking down. We're not as loyal to brands, and you millennials, it's all your fault. This is why you have no Elvis. This is why you have no Beatles. But the thing is, 60% say they bypass their brand for a lower price. And so this is your challenge as marketers. How do you create that brand awareness? And so when we look at the 5 C's and we look at strategy, and you can just read through this, this outlines the advantage of GoPro. And so the thing is, when you look at this, I can give you a company and you can do exactly the same kind of thing. Red ocean and blue ocean. Okay, I haven't really talked about this, but the theory of red ocean is that it's dangerous, that you're going toe-to-toe with a lot of competition, and you want to swim out into the blue ocean where there's less competition. And that's if you change features, you can find gaps and niches that big companies don't compete in. And so you don't have to worry because you're in the blue ocean. Okay, is Dr. Joe being a little sarcastic? The thing about red ocean, blue ocean is it's not, I mean, they like to say it's a marketing process, and it really isn't. And the reason why is that it's more a branding of a thought process of going into competitive markets and non-competitive markets. The problem is the guys who wrote red ocean, blue ocean, it's like they took a cookie cutter. Say I took a cookie cutter that looks like a horse. And what they did is they found a bunch of successful companies that look like horses. And they said, oh, look, this process is a horse. But no, it's a description of a bunch of companies. But the point is that Herb Kelleher wasn't thinking about red ocean, blue ocean when he formed Southwest Airlines. Herb Kelleher was thinking like, damn, it takes a long time to drive across the state of Texas. Wouldn't it be nice if I could get into an airplane? The thing is, except for the we, nobody's been able to use red ocean, blue ocean to successfully design a product. And not only that, the thing about blue ocean is if you show money can be made, somebody's coming in after you. That's just the reality of having a competitive world. And the other thing is the ocean might be blue because there's nobody in there, and there's a reason why nobody's in there. You can't make enough money. But I told you what it is. So that's a competitive landscape.